If I could have your attention, please, for just a couple of minutes. I'd like to explain what I'm doing here with our fish boil tonight. Tell a bit about the history of our traditional Door County fish boils. Our recipe here for fish boil is very simple. We have just 4 ingredients in our pot tonight. There's water, salt, potatoes, and fish. It takes a half hour to cook. Potatoes take the full half hour. The fish don't take very long at all. I put those in a moment ago, so at 7 o'clock we'll be ready to serve. The salt is the seasoning for the food, and in the salt let things float a little easier. So all the stuff we don't want on the food is going to be at the top of the pot, and the food will taste a lot better if we don't leave it there. So at the very end I'm going to take kerosene and throw it on the fire so it gets really hot, really fast, boils over enough to take that top layer off, and then just as soon as possible after that they'll come with this iron pole, put it through the hoops of the bottom basket, they'll pull both baskets up, they'll put on that carrier. You'll have a nice pathway so they get through people, chairs, tables, and everything else into the dining room with the hot food, and then you'll know your meal is ready. So our traditional fish boils go back to the time when immigrants began to arrive and settle northern Door County, middle part of the 19th century, many of them from the Scandinavian countries. And many of them were attracted to this part of the world because of the water. The shoreline, the harbors, they loved beyond the water and part of the water. They loved to fish, of course, and began to explore the bounty of this great lake. Discovered this fish we're going to enjoy tonight, great quantities of it, Lake Michigan whitefish. And just like some of the variety of fish they're accustomed to back in their old countries, they discovered this fish is really good poached, boiled. So they're the families that really started this traditional meal for us here in Door County. But it became a large group outdoor cooking experience, somewhat, I guess, like we're doing tonight, when the main industry here, later 19th century, early years, the 20th century, was lumbering. And many of those same immigrants were attracted here to those large lumber camps that we had. They already loved this kind of food, so you can imagine this would be a great treat for them at the end of a long, hard day of work. And the menu evolved because of what goes really well together, but also what they could find and grow. So little red potatoes are pretty abundant in season and boiled really nice with the fish. All the ingredients of coleslaw, cabbage and carrots, etc. are pretty easy to find, easy to grow, but wonderful side with potatoes and fish and bread every meal. But if ever fish was on the menu, of course, bread would be available, and you'll have wonderful bread tonight at your table. And then you'll get something they likely didn't get, at least not very often. We didn't start growing it here till later in the 20th century. But now whenever you come to the White Gull Inn for a fish boil, you'll always get cherry pie and ice cream for dessert. Yeah. Absolutely. That's worth sitting in the smoke just for that.
Excellent.
So after the lumber camps closed, then the local folks here just kept the tradition going. So as a little boy growing up here, my first fish boil was at church. Churches did them frequently for fundraisers and community time. And businesses sometimes would do them for their employees at the end of a season to say thank you. And often our family reunions are fish boils just because they're lots of fun. It was 1957 when the White Gull Inn decided to do this on a regular basis for the overnight guests here at the inn and other visitors to Door County. So they've been doing a fish boil here for a long time. If anybody has any questions, just come over. I'll try to answer if I can. I'll give it a minute warning before we boil it over. We're very glad you're here. Hope you enjoy your meal. Thank you. Yeah. Here we go.
Oh my God. Wow.
Make it sound like rain now, doesn't it? Yeah. Get you some diesel fuel.
Got it.
You hear a big boom?
Awesome. Oh, that's perfect.